Hey everybody, Brantos here. So I want to do a video on why right now I don't recommend that anyone buys an AK. Couple things. So right here in front of you, you see my PSA AK-74. Pretty fun gun. I got an ALG trigger in it, SLR Rifle Works gas tube, and handguard, and OSS device for my suppressor. So I took this out the other day, and I've been thinking about it a bit lately, and bear with me while I'm just kind of cleaning this. Not too bad after another few hundred rounds through it. So a little, excuse me. So a little thing about this. Right now, AK ammo is ridiculously overpriced. AK-74 ammo, 5.45x39 is basically vanishing. I have a little bit on hand, which is why I'm continuing to shoot this rifle. We'll probably get rid of this rifle once that ammo is gone. But 7.62x39 isn't cheap anymore either. And that was kind of the whole appeal of these, is you could shoot cheap trash ammo on a regular basis and not have any issues with it. So that's gone now. The other thing is if you shoot, like a regular sustained amount of fire or go out for a range day, this thing gets hot as piss. Hotter than piss, lava piss, something like that. I bumped this gas tube 2 days ago when I was out shooting, and I thought my thumb was going to be a goner. Like, it was so hot, and I was just sighting it in for my compact ACOG. Like, it wasn't like I was mag dumping this thing. It was so hot that it burned my thumb immediately. There's no rifle case you can put this in after you've been shooting it for a bit that won't probably melt. Like, it's ridiculously hot. I mean, everyone you see that shoots these in like a competition or anything, they got gloves on. They probably got fireman's gloves or something like that. And even with this, to get a little bit further away from the heat, you still feel it. Like, it's uncomfortable. And that's why I typically recommend Magpul handguards for these, because they do a pretty good job of keeping you away from the heat or keeping the heat away from you. Especially, they come up a bit, so they protect you from bumping into this gas tube like I did the other day. So about that, a lot of AK enthusiasts, they're mounting their optics here. They're mounting their optics here. Like, the heat coming off of this thing, you're going to get some distortion for some of that longer range work. Or I shouldn't say, like when you're trying to reach out after a day of shooting. I can't imagine that it's good for any optic you put on here, that much heat. Like, I get some people want to stress test their stuff, but Jesus, it gets so hot out here. The other thing with AKs is good luck finding someone to work on it where you don't have a long wait. Not too many people work on these things, and if you want anything done, go into like your local gun store and ask them, hey, I want this, I want a new gas block on my AK, and I want maybe the barrel cut down to 14.5 and then pin and weld. See what they say. Most places aren't going to do that kind of stuff, just because pulling the barrels out of these, you really have to know what you're doing, as well as, you got to push it back in. Everything's got to sync up. It's not fun to work on these. Like, it's not like an AR where you can just push these out. These are rivets. Like, you're stuck. You're really kind of stuck in what you buy here. So, I mean, I'll keep going on, but, mags. This is a 5.45 AK. Finding mags isn't easy either. I go in any gun store, I'm probably not going to find mags. Or if I do, they're not going to be good ones. So mags are really hard to come by. I know 7.62x39, you don't really have that issue, but I mean, if you want a 5.56 AK, you're probably looking at mag issues again. If you want a 5.45 AK, you're looking at mag issues. It's not a fun experience to be an AK owner if you have anything other than 7.62x39. And it's somewhat a shame, because 5.45x39, I love shooting it. It's a very pleasant round to shoot. Like I said, if you can avoid getting burned by this, it's fine. I actually shot pretty good groups with Red Army, or 2 days ago, and I was impressed with the groups I was getting out of this with just that Red Army. So it's fun to shoot. This ALG trigger is amazing. I haven't had any issues with this rifle so far, but the second you have issues with an AK, like, you're in trouble. Like, let's say you don't want to buy American. I get that. PSA doesn't have the longest track record of making great AKs, but now they make pretty good AKs. But let's say you want to buy an import. What happens when that rifle has issues? Do you just pick up the phone and dial up Bulgaria and, speak their language? Like, you're not getting any customer service. It's not going to happen. And KUSA is a joke right now. Their quality control makes a Visca look good. So there's not a lot of great options out there, and if anything goes wrong, you're kind of on your own. I can't, and just in general, 7.62 by 39. Like, what are you gaining there? Like, it's not a cheaper round anymore. You can get 5.56 for cheaper, I think, now, when I checked on Ammo Buy the other day, or checked online. So what are you gaining there? Are you gaining additional stopping power? I don't really think so. I mean, I took a deer with a 64 grain gold dot last year. I don't think you need the 7.62 by 39 for things. And all you're getting is a rifle that gets hot faster, doesn't have great accessories for it. Oh, and by the way, you want to mount an optic or like an LPVO or something? You got to buy a goddamn mount like this that you have to wait, hopefully comes in stock, and then costs you $200 for it. Like, the accessories that are good for AKs are not cheap. Once you, like, think about what I'm in for this rifle right now. So let's say this is $1,000 PSA. I've added $300 in handguard almost at this point. I've added, let's say, $200 on the trigger there. $200 on a mount. And that's not even with the optic. So I'm already at, like, what, $1,700? For $1,700, you can get a really good AR. A really good AR. Like, it's not going to be, great Gucci level stuff, but you can get up there. I'm trying to think, you're pushing right around, like the ADM range, I think. Midwest Industries you could probably get for $1,700. Like, you could get really great ARs. So there's no reason to buy this AK, especially if you plan on shooting it. Like, I get, there's some collectors out there. There's some people that, just like the aesthetic, or, like to wear tracksuits when they shoot, whatever it is. But from a practical standpoint, no one right now should be buying an AK. They're ridiculously priced as well. I mean, when an Arsenal 104 is going for Knight's SR15 prices, like, it's ridiculous. And I've owned a few Arsenals, including a 104. They weren't anything that I remember being better than this. They felt the same. So, like, with an AK, like, know what you're getting into. I hate to see, like, I've had buyer's remorse on AKs. I have buyer's remorse on this AK, technically, because ammo's going to get rough here. As well as, even after all these parts, it still gets hot as hell, and it's still not something you want to be shooting for a whole day. And I got lucky. The concentricity of these barrels, is sometimes a toss-up. So it's like, imagine getting a gun. It's an import from Bulgaria, and now your barrel doesn't line up. Oh, yeah, and not that many people work on these barrels, so you're waiting, 7 months for work, potentially? Like, if you go to someone really reputable, Like, I couldn't imagine if I sent Jim Fuller a kit, how long it would take to get back to me. I'm probably looking at a year, you know? Like, hypothetically, I can assume it's probably a year. Maybe I'm wrong, but, you know, he's only one guy. He's got a few people maybe working with him, but, like, all the AKs in the country can't just go to a few people and then expect decent turnarounds. So, yeah, I can't recommend buying an AK right now. I hope that the ammo situation changes in the future because they're a lot of fun. It's definitely a different feeling. You know, when you shoot an AK, you feel like the unlock, and then it feels like a machine, like almost like a sewing machine. It's like ching, 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 ching. You know, like it's fun. I'll admit that it's fun. If you shoot a low amount of rounds, it's still relatively pleasant. And once this thing starts getting hot, or the rifle does, like, I mean, even like the mag pulls, how you have to cut these sling hooks off, I get that almost, because this sling hook gets hot as hell. There was another BCM piece over here. It melted off. There was another piece over here. It melted and shrank and shot out of this thing 2 days ago. Those BCM grip panels, it's gone. It doesn't work anymore. It just kind of melted and fell out of there, and it didn't want to stay in to M-lock anymore. So yeah, don't buy an AK right now unless you're ready to deal with all the consequences of it. It's like buying a BMW, you know, like you're going to have to drop a lot of money into it to get it running well, I feel like sometimes. You know, for the trigger, the handguard, the gas tube, the rail mount, everything, you know, extended charging handle, the stuff that makes this thing pleasant to shoot, you're going to have to throw some money into it. And then it's all hinging on the idea that you got one of the ones that works well, you know, that doesn't have crooked sights and that has a concentric barrel and, you know, all the rivets are done well and all that stuff. So there's a lot of like issues with it. And to be honest, I think once I'm done shooting this AK, or once my 545 is gone, I'm probably going to get rid of this and just not look back at AKs again. It doesn't make sense. So I know the video is probably not the news everyone wants to hear, but I've owned 4 AKs, 5 I think actually, and I mean they're fun to shoot, but from a practical standpoint, you don't really gain anything here. Like everyone's like, "Oh shit, hits the fan, I want an AK." Well, good, but where are you gonna find mags that work and ammo? And nowadays an AR, they make piston ARs. There's a bunch of different variants of non-ARs that are out there, you know, CZ Brens, Scars, all kinds of stuff is out there, you know, like instead of ARs if you're just not an AR fan. But like, I don't see any reason to buy one of these anymore. And, you know, leave a comment if you think I'm wrong. I'd love to hear your opinion. I'd love to hear why I'm wrong, because I'm finding it hard to have the motivation to keep this rifle around, you know? All right. Take care, everyone.